This woman right here, complete trifling bitch. This is Marguerite of Navarre, and from a historical lens, she's really thought of as this forward-thinking, not really radical by our standards, but this kind of radical woman, because she was this writer and this thinker, and she was engrossed in religious thought, and she thought that women should be able to engage in these conversations, yada, yada, yada. That's how she's been portrayed. She was especially known for this book, The Heptameron, which is about 10 strangers, 5 men, 5 women. They get stuck waiting for a bridge to be built, and they have to exchange all these stories, right? It's a big deal. People still read it today. Big classic. Not taking that from her, but like this is kind of what the credit is for Marguerite of Navarre. Anyway, enter her daughter, Jeanne D'Albret. D'Albret, someone correct me, I'm sure. Anyway, Jeanne here, she ended up being a bit of a Protestant radical, right? She was a big thorn in the sides of the royals, one of which was Catherine Medici, who was the Queen of France at the time, the Dowager Queen of... Anyway, I digress. She ended up being this, like, radical at the time. And her mother, Marguerite of Navarre, hardcore Catholic, loved Catholicism. And as young Jeanne here grew up, she actually came out and started talking about her mother. And she's like, yeah, my mother forced me into a marriage that she knew was going to be horrible. And she even tried to trick the other guy in the process of the marriage. Oh, yeah. And when I said I didn't want the marriage, she beat me. Even though I was 12 years old, she used to beat me all the time if I didn't do what she wanted. Women's rights, am I right? Which just completely cast Marguerite in a whole different light. Here is what Jeanne D'Albret actually said herself about her mother. And of my mother, the queen, who had threatened me and beaten by the governess, she has several times brought pressure on me at the command of the queen, my mother, threatening me that if I did not do everything the king wished, I would be so beaten and maltreated that I would die, and that I would be the cause of the ruin and destruction of my mother and father and of their house. I do not know to whom to appeal except to God when I see that my mother and father have abandoned me. Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyway, Marguerite of Navarre here had a very messed up relationship with her daughter. And if you were interested in knowing about the historically messed up mother-daughter relationship saga, then you can go and read it here, Game of Queens, where there is lots of that.